And ready to go. Someone using meta strats, but famously not racing. That is the way. How is alchemy going for you, by the way? Let's go ahead and dive in, guys. So it is January 9th. We just got the update for the combat reveal. Many people hitting 500 these past few days. Quite a lot of activity. Let's go ahead and see here. We are doing some foraging. My stat reviews, we actually just passed 1700 total today, actually. Our alchemy is going to be hitting 300 tomorrow, most likely. We have up to 354 foraging. We're finally trying to draw a line. We're expecting to hit 500 foraging next Sunday evening. So a lot of progress for myself in the Hopeport run, but we will see. A lot of changes with combat. I think there's going to be probably some real information revealed tomorrow. But let's dive into the leaderboard review. So we have Guard, which may not exist in the coming months. We'll see how this changes. This will be renamed to Hopeport Obelisk, which will be an episode-specific tuning bonus level, which will help us progress vertically through the episode. Now, right now, we can see Wise Old Man, friend of the stream. I found Wise when I was about level 400, actually, in Guard, over at Goblins, I want to say. But we've been chatting it up here and there. Congrats to Wise, Shady, Cavern, and of course Plenum did hit it about a week ago, right, Plenum? I think. And we know Johnny Sniper had kind of stopped grinding around, I want to say like 370, but then kind of started picking it up. So I'm curious, he's got to be pretty close. However, we do know there are several opters in the Guard race. Excuse me, at a minimum, we know Killshot is still out there grinding. We're aware of like 5 or 6 others, but we do believe at least a few of them got banned. So I think Wise at rank 18 plus 2, meaning 2 spots available in case there's opters. Wise might be in the clear here for top 20. It's probably very close. It just all depends like who's banned, who's opted, right? It's like 7 of 10s in here. There's a few people that have opted back in to push Wise down to 18. But yeah, Killshot was at Elk yesterday. But again, guys, like if people are penalized, they have to send a screenshot so we know they have no penalties, or else they could just be chilling with. I mean, I don't think Killshot did anything, but I'm just saying until we have those 2 ranks, it's just we never really know, right? But good to know, good to know. So Guard race is pretty much over. If you guys want to see the Guard density, it looks like, yeah, about 300 people pushing past level 200. So that number continues to go up. I think more people, especially in the overall race, are getting to 200. So we're seeing those kind of grow up a bit here. We'll have, next we'll go into Chef. Chef, we are currently at rank 154. Congrats to Fruit Bat. I know Jester is probably getting the level tomorrow, which is quite surprising. I think the Chef leaderboard has been filling up kind of quickly. We know Kels is very close in the top 25 here. Kels the mod. We have several people, I think, that have opted in this range that have kind of been bumping around the leaderboard. But there is a bit of a gap here, 49, 433 down to 371. So between 9th place, which will be our last single digit to hit, probably Frozen Titan, it's going to kind of slow down after this. But I expect this leaderboard to be full within 2 months. 2 months is a pretty liberal estimate. I'm pretty sure it'll be done before that. But that should be the Chef race for top 20. If you want to look at a little bit of density on this one, I'm a good measurement because I just passed 200. About 150 people passed level 201.5 here in Chef. And roughly 200 people have gotten 200. About 217 it looks like. With Fisher, we have wow. We have Timmy's Coffee, real fun, and maybe tomorrow. We know Timmy's Coffee got 500 fishing yesterday. I think maybe just hit it today or this morning. Valerie and Sensei closing in on 500. These will be happening pretty soon here. Valerie maybe probably tomorrow evening, maybe the next day. And I'm not sure about Sensei, a little bit further away, but making some real progress there. Curious how much money these guys have. There's Bless You. We've been following them. Red Lions up here. A
The
lot of change,
broad
actually.
water lily with its expansive emerald green leaves floating delicately on the surface of still waters possesses a serene and captivating allure. Its lush, velvety petals open to reveal a pristine, soft crimson or pale pink bloom with a subtle fragrance that lingers in the air, intoxicating the senses.
Maybe I could mute that next time. I don't know. To be determined. Yeah, so notably though, I was curious like how well we could push into fishing if we wanted to. And this seems to be pretty indicative of a tighter race. So I got to give respect to the people who are pushing fishing. And yeah, 304 for rank 20 is not a trivial number. We know there's like ventures backing that as well. But part of what I'm you, you would, Sohan.
So, sorry for interrupting. You may continue.
You're apologizing on behalf of Tony. It's pretty impressive. So with the post 200 race here, we know that there's like a bit of a pickup once you get to that venture. So look how interesting it is. 49 small has 240, but then rank 77 is at 208. So there's a nice little gap there. Interesting to see some breakout. Now for Forager, the the profession of the hour. We've seen ITI and Lambro opt in. So the leaderboard is a bit more dense. Lambro and I have been kind of neck and neck since the pond days, basically. I was a little bit later getting into the pond, but I was technically only about 20 levels behind Van Deen at one point, but Van Deen has been pure KP into Forage. ITI has been, I think, KP in his Forage as well. I made the decision around, like 285-ish to not do a single point of KP into Forage. I thought that would not be good long term. So this is probably when I was most incognito on stream. So I didn't really want people to know what decision I made for a couple of days. That was probably when I did my Black Desert stream. And I don't know. I just was like, I was trying to make sure that I had a little bit of like level protection. Because I still can get beat by any of these people who are around me if they choose to go into KP. So it's like, it's not worth it for me. I've just decided that regardless of whether I get top 20 or not, I just won't be doing any KP into Forage. It's probably like the worst thing I could do like competitively right now. And we've already like gone through the guard thing, been around this this rodeo before. So our goal right now and our trajectory, it seems that you're all transparency is probably grinding around 20 hours a week. They're not like a crazy, 12 to 20 hour a day gamer. So I've been picking up on them. At one point I was about 50 levels behind Yer. And obviously I was much more than that, but when we were in the pond, I think we were about 70 levels behind. And by the time we left the pond, we were around 50 behind. And then once we got to like Water Lily and Bell Plant, we've been closing up for sure. Yeah, ITI's been pushing, absolutely. ITI and I were pretty close. He was leaving the pond around the time I got to the pond. And then, yeah, Windex is very close here. I'm just going deep into this one because it's definitely relevant for us as we're looking. A lot of people that we were basing our levels off of, if you guys remember, I used to use a lot of these names who are now in like the bottom like 30 or so here. So if we're looking at, I should say top 30, excuse me, I'm not saying like the bottom 30, but the bottom of the top 30 leaderboard, there was Rise. We remember Jesse. Lex Dislick, I think, is around rank 35 now. That was the name that we threw around a few times. So the people who are pushing, Brosies, Laraz has been pushing. Laraz is like getting, I think, like 7 levels every day. We just had passed Laraza 2 days ago, and they overtook us once when we slept, and then I think we're pretty much in the clear now. But Bros is kind of a little bit slower than Laraza. And then Epiphany, some of these people are just gaining a couple levels here and there. So we had an idea of where we wanted to like insert ourselves, but once we saw Windex's progression, and then we knew of like ITI and Van Deen and how they were doing their strategy, I kind of made some calls, and this is where we're at. So my best bet right now is we get rank 17, but we'll see. I don't know if I mentioned, but Zardelt has not moved in weeks. This combat update, maybe it'll like bring them back and they'll be competitive. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, Zardelt's been kind of falling. I think I think Zardelt was like rank 6 or something at some point. So anyway, we'll see how this transpires. But last but not least for Hopeport, we have Alchemist. Alchemist, we have 2 500s. Reminiscence opted in and 11 levels off. Looks like Set Apart is at rank 4 pretty decisively. Remy breaking out with a 28 level gap, which is quite shocking. I haven't bothered to ask and I haven't checked, but did Remy end up doing any sort of money strats? Does not seem to be the case. We see 365 gather. Absolutely crazy. Very impressive account. If that's the case, I think alchemy at the end, we know the 412 pot is kind of, how should I say, it's very affordable to push that pot actively, so some definite strategies there, especially depending on how they're doing it. But we see Remy at the alchemy apothecary all the time, so it makes sense. Small way up there, 437. Got commodity at 391, MOBA 375. MOBA's been progressing, but I think Small's probably observed too, like, seems he's slowed down a little bit. Like, he's closer to my trajectory. Like, as he's been getting from like 50 to 40 to 30 levels behind me, it seems that I'm holding more day to day. But we'll see how this kind of works out. I think there's some RNG with combat and how much people can play the game and stuff like that. But we'll look at the Hopeport one next. Maxistral, Full Term, Akara, Pipsqueak. I've got a little bit of a gap here. We did do some active 277 potions. If you saw the stream a couple days ago, we did a little checkpoint. But I did about 12-ish active levels with KP into alchemy while doing alchemy. And then we kind of stopped that. So I'm trying to do KP up to 325. There's a couple really good passes in here too. So I'm going to see what options I have. I may consider even doing some KP into Chef. We'll see. But I have some resources I probably should burn as well. But I'm trying not to waste too much time on Chef with the bad level ranges. So Hopeport overall, Zohan is cruising right behind us steadily. Small up to 1676, meaning they only have 824 levels left of Hopeport. Officially, I think Small, you would agree, you're probably over the halfway point, right? You're within like 5-6 days, yeah? I think we're getting pretty close. It's got to be, I don't know, maybe like 45%. Where do you feel like you're at in terms of percentage? Because I feel like I have like maybe 2 weeks to go until I hit halfway. But I guess I will probably be catching 1670 and that's probably 6 days to me, maybe 7. So I feel like I'm a full week behind that number right now, but that's super impressive. MOBA and Zohan not far behind. We've been about 30 levels ahead of MOBA for a bit. We got ITI pushing up to 1329, so he's definitely claims some room here. There were a lot of opters on this page, but rank 20 is showing right at 1001. This has only gained like a level since yesterday. The only other gaps in here, I think, Pasticio sounded like he didn't want to do the Hopeport race. A lot of these are overall people. But Ratsplat past 1100, that's kind of notable if they're looking at getting into the Hopeport race. The only names that we don't see on this list, we see Lambro, by the way, ranked 12, definitely a new presence. ITI, Empo's pushing Magadon, Stinky and Omega. Omega's been pushing levels after Forage, so that's a 500 Forage grinder, so definitely not one to underestimate. MOBA's got a lot of levels in fishing that are pre-200, so he's already kind of ahead of me in my mind. I'm really thinking Small, then MOBA, then myself, or Zohan. Probably Zohan, realistically. Then myself. And then it would probably be ITI at this rate, or Lambro. To be determined. But a lot of this is going to be interesting how people choose to spend their time and where they get their levels from. Go to bed at 3 a.m., MOBA gains 7 to 8 before you log in at 10. Yeah, I've seen... if I pull an all-nighter, I can see when MOBA's leveling. I think he must be in Australia, is my guess. If I had to just like totally guess his time zone. Because of, or at least Oceanic, I think is a more fair way to guess that. But yeah, that's the Hopeport race. Shore Central in that mix too. There's some real people there getting like 10 plus hours a day that are pushing this forward, but a very attainable race if someone wants to go hard on an episode race. This will always be episode 1. So last night killing ghouls, I stopped to send him some cheer emotes. Oh geez, yeah. Is that the 290s maybe? Sounds about right, yeah. Going for that top 20 hope port, says Plenum. That's crazy. Is that who talking to me? Maybe Lambro. I don't know. Anyway, that's episode 1. We have episode 2. One of our favorites. We've got Hope Forest. About a solid 100 level gap here. Ape is actually gapping Monster Girl a little bit. I've not gone super deep into all of these players' level distributions, but the name that we have to be aware of is Sap, who has most of these most of this 979 just in 2 professions. About 960 of those are literally just carpentry and woodcut. Savage Shores, very contendable with their push and gathering. Pasticio seems to not want to do this episode either, but we see him grinding some scout. Zephyr pushing into carpentry, definitely a contender. Seems they're kind of committed to this area. Rats and Goblins saying I don't know these 2 names. Racklow Watts, not really sure of these guys either. But Nesquik, Howard, Monster Girl, all very, very respectable grinders here. So very interesting. We see Bones Dog down here too. I'm not sure if he wants to like get in the mix after doing 500 Gatherer. He definitely should be observed as well. Rats and Goblins hasn't leveled in weeks. Nice. Okay. Very interesting. They got to like the soft cap for episode 2. Interesting. They got a 2k total. Are they like not grinding anything, Ape, or just not grinding episode 2? Any idea? So after, I don't know why we clicked on Hope Forest first. We kind of did this out of order, but let's go ahead and look at each skill by skill. So Scout, we now have 8 opted in level 500s. This is led by Unleashed and then Monster Girl. And most recently, we know I3 got it, Karaman, Astrosloth, and Mr. Cool. Bloody Hound has not moved in weeks. Power the Flower, about to pass Bloody Hound. And then a couple more names passing 400, Mons, Kfun, and Meows. Interesting to see some new names pushing into the top ranks for Scout. Bottom level, rank 20 Scout, you guys, is up to 353. So we've been watching this number increase, but Scout and Mindfighter were like, oh, if you don't have a combat top 20, you could still get one. That is no longer becoming a reality. I think we are going to see a top 20 leaderboard fill for WATCHPERSON tomorrow. We're going to see a top leaderboard for Guard when people opt in, presumably, or in like the next few days. WATCHPERSON may already be solved as well, for what it's worth. Mindfighter and... yeah, I think Mindfighter and Scout will be 500 within 1 month. Absolute max. Realistically, 3 weeks. I don't know if you were hardcore in Scout right now. If you're at level 0, I don't think you could make it. It'd be a challenge because Sassy got to max level Guard in 18 days, I think. 18, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it's not quite right. 19 days, 19 and a half-ish. So that's from a released game to max Guard. So that's not even optimal. There's definitely a chance if you're not on this board. I'm not going to say it's not possible. If you're willing to not sleep, yeah, pretty much. Gatherer, we see now 5, level 500. So Amma the Herald's at 500. Grumpy Dumps, I don't know. Is that a rename maybe? Grumpy Dumps. Wait, did Remy? Yeah, Remy's on here. Never mind, rank 8. I was going to say Reminiscence isn't here. But definitely a lot of names on the leaderboard. Yeah, Bugged, Count Sailor. I'm surprised that people are pushing to 500. The race to 500 Gatherer is probably one of the least competitive in episode 2 after like the top 10, just because of the utility of the skill beyond alchemy, which I think a lot of the hardcore people are focusing on, but I don't know how many people are doing this like for fun, you know. But to each their own. Props to all the people who are doing it. I see Webster, we have Kiv here. A lot of people who are doing alchemy are on this list, so mad respect to the people who have chosen to go for it. We have Woodcutter, 3rd skill. We got Nat Demonly, Z Reset, now Brigham with Sully on deck for level 500 Woodcutter. quite impressive. This basically means that if yeah, sap at 466 means they literally only have like 20 or 30 levels of Hope Forest outside of Carpa Woodcut, which is just nuts. Nesquik's on here, Boss, Meaty Buns, Devin the Divine, Katana, Midnight, Howard's on here at 300. Very interesting. 300 Woodcutter is wild. Carpenter, we still don't see an opted rank 1, guys, but Sap is at rank 1 at 468, visibly opted in right now. This is it's important stuff. I mean, if you think about it, we are about a week away tops from seeing a rank 1 Carpenter come on. Maybe they'll be on Tell's podcast. We'll see. Other names on here, we do have Howard at rank 2, 404. Very impressive for Carpenter. Nat at 334 with rank 1 overall. Very impressive. Bit of a gap here, though, between the top 5 ranks. By rank 5, we're already down to 303. And some further fall off here. Apes on here. Monster Girls on here. A lot of these names. Callum, Cubed Meat, T, Oxy, Arrow, Seti, Arcanine, Nesquik. We got Kale. Kale's doing some alchemy as well. Sweet, Bobby. There's Zephyr, friend of the stream. And we've got Opsis and Loof down. So 216, guys. The rank 20 still being at 216 is a little bit shocking, actually. So if we look at the density on this, because we do like checking this, it looks like about, yeah, what am I at right now? So my 20,000, this is like people who just got Storage Rift, never turned it in. I think 33 is the people who turned it in. So about 12k people finished Spider Nest. If we look at the 200 pluses, though, look at that. There's like nobody. It's like exponential right there. So only about 100 people, 110 people maybe have 100 plus. Well done with the snowball. Throwing it right at the leaderboard, classic. Yeah, right about 100 and some odd people here have 100 plus carp. That's not a lot of people. And that number's only cut in half. So 45 people have 200. Empathetic at rank 46 is showing 182. So if there's some more opted overall gamers, they would be on the list. But yeah, this is kind of shocking. Sassy's up here at level 80. Interesting. What people choose to do, right? So again, one more check on the Hope Forest leaderboard, since we normally check it after. It is interesting. Rank 17 basically is your cutoff for the soft cap 200 per level average. 200 levels per profession average for the episode. But yeah, definitely a leaderboard you could crack into. Perhaps one of the ones that will get solved latest. Now, after Hope Forest, we have the Mines of Mantibin, starting with Minefighter. We have 500 Minefighters opted in. Not that many for a combat skill. Not that many. We have Buns Britain, who I don't think has moved in a long time. If I recall, Britain used to be a former rank 1 Minefighter, or at least opted in Minefighter. Vlad, Polar, Old, Sworn to Black, Sire, Ace Royale. Is there really an E there? Wouldn't it be like Royal A or something? Anyway, pretty sure there's no accent there. But, you know, I think the leveling here is pretty similar. So 338 on Minefighter versus 353 on Scout. So Minefighter is probably going to be the last combat profession to cap out, which is interesting because Minefighter has some utility for, like, you know, getting some alchemy materials. It's kind of like a cooler episode with like the bridge and stuff. I don't know. The layout of the map I think is cool. And Minefighter overall is kind of like the combat stat in a very otherwise challenging episode. So it makes sense that it might be less competitive. But definitely a cool cape too. Cool episode to watch. Very curious how that race will transpire. After Minefighter, we're looking at Bone Knight. Now, Bone Knight, we know, is one of the most challenging in the game. Rank 1, only showing at 283. Again, we know there's someone opted who's well above 350, if not 400 by now. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Is this Variety MMO again? Or, yeah, a lot of names in here that we recognize. So we got QQ Ninja showing us rank 1. I don't know this person. But Red Bean, Enigma, Bone Garage, or Garage. Rotten Cotton, Southon. We got Pingers, Spiffy Legion. Did Ross get opt? Rosket opted out, didn't he? What is happening? Wait, did I... Wait. Am I looking at the wrong thing? We may have clicked the wrong button. No. Rosket is not on here. Oh, he's only 199, so he's not been doing bone right. Thank you, thank you. Okay. So, Miner... Yeah, we know Jester got kind of sniped by Natok on rank 1. Yaganagos and Greb at level 500. The new names here, Revolt and Naroda. So Naroda streams, but Revolt is very close. Revolt to level 500. A little bit of fall off after rank 7. And rank 20 puts you down at 261. Shout out to Plays and Walla Walla. There's Rosket up here, 342. We know Plays has been kind of like your measurement for passive, but he's done some active here and there to kind of boost a little bit. So that's a fun leaderboard to watch. I think 261 is a solid... This is a 2-monther, guys. Like, there's probably a solid 2 months until top 20 miners is done. So I'd say if you're trying to get into a leaderboard, this is definitely an interesting one that might be kind of fun. You could bank some materials. Might slow down a bit, though. I mean, that's a pretty heavy one to get into, but to each their own, right? After Miner, we have Blacksmith. Blacksmith is perhaps another one of these contenders for difficulty. Lusty Argonian at 373, Walla Walla 312, Rosket 301. So by rank 4, guys, we're at 285. How crazy is that? Red Bean, Davo, a lot of people on this list. Where is Red Bean? So is Red Bean not on the Blacksmith one? I thought he was higher up on Blacksmith. Anyway, I think there are many different people here who might be opted as well, but not a lot of density here. Another one that's definitely a contender. I think any of these crafting skills, if you can learn to love them, can be pushed and competitively achieved. We know that, like, for example, who was it? I think it was Skelly who had pushed like 220 on Stonemason in just like a week and a half since the game came out. Yo, I see a message from Starship. Sorry I missed this. How much KP does that route give? It's about 540, 530. If I'm really efficient, I think I can do a little bit better. But most of the time I've been pulling around that like 520, 530, it seems. But yeah, welcome in. So Stonemason has not changed a lot. Like, people have not really been pushing into Stonemason directly. If there's another name that's opted out, I'm not sure if Tubby was up here, if someone else was up here. But based on like the passive leveling, and I know all the materials that go into it, everyone's opted on Stonemason. Okay, yeah, that checks out. Everyone's opted. That definitely makes a lot of sense. Perfect. So yeah, people are going to do what they're going to do, right? I'm not going to dig too much into the opters, but even if there were 10 people, right, that are opted, 245 for rank 20, very, very open if you really want to love Stonemason. I'll just put it that way. And to close out episode 3, we have the Mine of Mantuban overall leaderboard with Rosket showing a very strong 1327. Nobody has seen Tubby. We don't know the situation, guys. It's been a long time since a Tubby sighting. If you guys know about Tubby, drop it in the comments. But as far as we know, Rosket is holding the new rank 1 absolute unit. But shoutouts to Red Bean, to Pasticio, Unbe. We know Pasticio's got like 240 something Stonemason as a Hammer Mage. I mad respect it. I think he's got a really good plan right now. He's kind of doing his combat stats all in parallel with his Stonemason. It's a pretty nice formula. If I was doing overall, I'd do something very similar. But then you have names like Unbe, Maru, Tengoku, Vorpal. So a lot of your overall gamers, Empathetic, Zan, Mighty, like these guys are all like literally in the top 15, top 10. So mad respect to the Mines of Mantuban Grinders. 915 at rank 20. We're actually getting closer to that 200 level average over the episode. So definitely some progress. What's up, Mr. Cool? We got old school in here. Keeping the weapon crafting skills is 100% the way to go. Yep, and there's so many ways to get KP in the game. Like, you could do combat skills KP in, you can passive those crafting skills. A lot of really cool strats, which I think all make sense. Now we have episode 4. Guys, imagine there's like 20 episodes and I'm gonna have to do episode review for 20 episodes. We'll like do like a speed run version of like the first 5, you know, and then we'll like get into like the new stuff, and it could be pretty interesting depending on how fast they come out. So anyway, we have Watch Person episode 4, my dudes. We got the fullest leaderboard. You ready? 500, 500, 500, 500, all the way to rank 19. But if there are no opters, which is basically impossible, there would technically be one more spot. But we believe there are several opted. So I think this leaderboard is closed out. But congrats to Tolkien, Detective Santa, XJ9, Outlaw. A lot of these guys got 500 Watch Person very recently. Very impressive stuff. Now we have Detective. Detective, we know Urbanman got rank 1, is currently opted. Suplex, Casey, the first to 2 500. Shout out to Casey, crazy grinder. And now then Kyle with like so Kyle's basically ranked 4, so old schooled. A lot of gamers in here. We got Jesus, we got Marethiel, XJ9. There's Santa again, not like us. Firebat, a recent 500 I think as well. These are crazy impressive. So we actually have 10 level 500s, 11 if you include Herberman, which means about half full on this leaderboard already for non-combat skill. This is likely, if not guaranteed. Guys, question for chat. Is Forge going to fill before Detective? That's the only non-combat that I could see filling first. What fills first, Detective or Forge? We could do a poll. You guys want to do a poll? This is a good poll topic, so I think we're just going to throw it up. If you guys want to participate, this will be on Twitch. The question is, which leaderboard fills rank 2500 first? And it's only between Detective and Forage. We'll throw that up with a 3 minutes. One singular vote here. But pretty interesting to see Detective filling up so quickly. I think if we look at this logically, yeah, we got Waffles next in line. What's up, Waffles? Congrats to you, dude. On deck, we got then Titus and the whole Nav, Fubi, Bandos. There's Twill at 368. I don't think Twill's been getting a ton of levels lately. Not sure if Twill's still playing, if you guys know what Twill's up to. There's actually 20 level 500 Carpenters. They're all just opted out. That is disgusting. Very, very interesting. We have... yeah, milk counts down here at 350. So I don't know. I could see these guys moving pretty quick. But for comparison, for the poll at hand, so 350 at the bottom, but you guys foraging's at 354. And some of us are going pretty damn hard. I mean, myself on the bottom of the list, Zardel is going to be pushed by some people doing like 8 levels a day. So I don't know. You guys are voting Detective, so polls don't work. On deck in the whole Jimmy's a baseballer. Through like high school, I did a little bit, you know. We got after Detective, Leatherworker. Now Ryan Baphomet, PM Twisty, and Bedox. We got G Sanhei. Man, Sanhei's at 465. You might snipe rank 5. It's crazy. Afterlife ones and Casey. Like, this is a crazy list. Casey's like so high on this for having done what they've done. This is absolutely remarkable to see the effort distributed between all these skills. Really, Casey's just crazy for this. We have Harbinger at 323. Clayton down here, the Merchant, Leatherworker, Alchemist Grinder. Rank 2 Alchemist locked in. Very, very interesting. So rank 5 will be very, very, very contentious, I think, between these two. Senai's probably making bank, or hopefully saving up a bunch of leather. Or both, you know, or both. So after Leatherworker. So one more quick note here, but Leatherworker rank 20 is only 275. So Leatherworker clearly going to be the last Chronopolis skill to cap out. I think Merchant is a little bit sooner, right? Yeah, 309. So we now have 6 rank 500, level 500 merchants. Most recently, Scriptpunk. You guys, Miles. I don't know if we ever got to shout out Miles, level 500 merchant. Rank 3 by Miles is absolutely insane. If you don't know, you're way out of the loop. Miles, perhaps one of the craziest Giga grinders in the game right now, missing all of his like pre-200 combats and has 3140 total and 500 level merchant. Use 0 KP and merch while doing it is insanity. Now, what this also means is that we have, so Ron Stampler right about to get 500. He's probably like trying to get it like right now, you know. Soon to be a 500. Virulent not far behind. Halloween and Ren with Casey not far back, rank 11. So Casey is closing this out very quickly. The speed of episode 4 is absolutely unprecedented. Casey at 1784, only missing 216 levels. Guys, that's like 9 days. The speed that Casey's going, like 20 plus levels a day, that is not a long amount of time. So very, very interesting. After Casey, old schooled and Miles though, like old schooled, definitely running it, dude. 500 watch and detective by old schooled. Grats, this is sick. With 247, 253, and some respectable stats even. Like, I see lots of like 62 blacksmiths, some good stuff in there for sure. If we keep going down the Chronopolis leaderboard, so Santa, Firebat, Nav, there's Kyle, Hans, we got Jesus. So by far the highest rank 20 episode average is it here? I mean, this is 250 average, right? 250, 254 and a half, I think. So that puts it pretty high up, actually, if you think about it. That's quite surprising. I wonder if this leaderboard is just going to get sent, right? Like, guys, when do you think rank 20 is going to fill on this? It could be like super. I mean, this 200 levels post. So I feel like this leaderboard will be over in like 5 months. Yeah, longer than it looks. Longer than it looks. What do you ask? 20 for each? Gotta give him a correction here. So, man, tools aren't a huge deal in episode 4, are they? You just have like the cuffs pretty much. Is there a tool for leatherworking, you guys? I should know this, but considering I've never trained it before. Yeah, I don't see one, huh? I don't see one. A merchant? Nope. Nothing. Nat crossed the halfway mark, you think? Yeah, I was asking Small Alondria if they think they're past half, but I didn't get a response. I think they're very close, if not. MG and I are close. Yeah, Monster Girl. Oh, that's going to be interesting to watch for sure. That should conclude the leaderboard review, guys. If you have any other comments, feel free to drop them on the video. I just like recording this and multi-streaming it, so we will go ahead and close out on the YouTube side, but feel free to join us on Twitch. We'll be going